We talking shit, yeah. We talking shit, baby, yeah. We're talking shit, yeah. We talking shit, baby. We talking shit, yeah. We talking shit, baby, yeah. We're talking shit, yeah. We're talking shit, baby.
The history of this podcast is
Everything. Starting it.
Besides everything.
Burning it down when it was successful.
Well, that's for sure.
I think that was the biggest.
But when
mistake.
you left, you should have just had a Patreon for $3,000 a month or whatever it was, and paid for the rape cottage to just be for talking shit.
Don't you know what happened with the rape cottage?
No, there was. All I
I'm glad
remember,
I met you after that.
We were talking about. You were like, oh, I'll see if I can rent a few, and then one day it was just gone.
So when we were moving, we were in the midst of like buying a house, which like my head spun when that happened. My wife's like, oh, I just put an offer in a house. And I'm like, great. I don't know how I'm going to fucking pay for it. Then we were living in the rape cottage and she was like, we need to get out of here. I can't. She was pregnant. She's like, I cannot have a kid in this house. And I was like, okay. I was like, why not? She's like,
because it's called the rape cottage.
yeah, and the parking spot, you had to walk past 8 homeless men. You know, there was urine.
Now it's 1,900 homeless.
Yeah. So
I still have my GPS on.
So I was renting the rape cottage from this old lady. And I said to her, hey, can I sublet the place out? She goes, yeah, no problem. So I reached out to all my friends and I was like, hey, who wants it? And I wanted like, I think it was like Machete. Weren't you thinking about taking it? Yeah. I was like, I'm going to put Machete in it. And then
you could just do the podcast.
Do the podcast and we'll have to like live in, you know, can you imagine what you'd come in, they'd look like fucking Scarface's house. And, but whatever, it would have been fun. So Lauren's like, we're worried about like making our first mortgage payment, this, that, everything. I got a buddy who goes, I'll take it. So I give it to him and I'm like, here, take it. And my wife goes, what'd you charge him? And I go, what we pay. And she goes, it's going to be such a headache. She's like, he's never going to pay his rent on time, blah, blah, blah. So she goes, add a couple $100 on a month. And the rent was so cheap. That was like, I think it was like
500.
What?
What was it? 2,500?
24, I think.
For Ocean View too?
For that beach house that I had.
Damn.
And I go, oh, okay. So I call him. I'm like, hey, the rent. I was talking to my wife. He goes, oh, no, you said it was 24. I'm like, it's 26. I go, I got everybody else wants it. Do you want it or not? He goes, okay, I'll take it. So like we move and all I kept thinking was as soon as he like moves out, I'll take it back. And then we'll make a podcast studio out of it. Like the whole thing was just going to be like offices, podcast studio, the coolest place. Let all my friends do their shows there. Like kind of like like a comedy clubhouse. He's talking to her and she was like super liberal kind of lady, super liberal, wrote for the New Yorker.
Who?
My landlord.
Oh.
And I loved her. We got along really well. She goes, how much is Eddie charging you? And he told her and she freaked out over
200 extra.
Freaked out.
$200.
So then he calls me and he's like, you're overcharging me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but prior to this, he calls me, he goes, hey, I had to paint the whole house. And I go, what? He goes, when you move into a new place, you have to have it painted. I go, not when you sublet.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I'm going to take it off the rent. And I was like, and my wife goes, see, that's why I didn't charge.
I think that's fair. You painted the place. You know?
I didn't tell him to paint it.
Yeah, but still.
He's like, I put in a stripper pole. I'm taking another 200.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah. Paint, you know, that fucking basic maintenance. He didn't buy a stainless steel fridge on me.
Yeah.
You know. I'm just giving you Switzerland's opinion over here. That's I would maybe do that. If it was like
I don't know
shitty, I'd be like, oh, I'm painting this shit. You're paying for the paint.
I don't know how
I did the labor.
Yeah.
That's a fucking fair exchange in my book.
I don't know how Swiss you are right now. You seem a little more like North Korea to Russia.
What do you mean? You're the one who sublet to a rat who ratted you out to the landlord.
He did rat me out.
Yeah.
He fucking, that's a
All
rat.
these friends he has. He
Yeah,
picks the one
you
guy
picked
who's
the
like,
rat.
The rat.
Who was it? Name
I can't
names.
say.
Talk
I can't.
shit.
No,
What's
I
the name of
can't.
this guy? It was Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
No.
It was Jay Leno.
So anyway,
It was Bud Friedman.
anyway, Wild's gonna love you for that.
It was Chris Wilde. You leased it to Chris Wilde.
She freaks out and she's like, I'm gonna rent it directly to you, which is what I was worried that was his plan all along to get it. So it got taken from
It's
me.
a rat.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a rat. He did it on
And
purpose.
she didn't give me my security deposit or my last month's rent or whatever. It was like $5,000. And I was like, oh. So I was so mad at her. Like she went from being Miss Liberal, blah, 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 to fucking thief.
Yeah.
And then he and I made up, but his roommate at the time, I'm out at the old place one night having dinner and I see him at the bar and I'm like, hey, I forget his name, Carl or something. I'm like, hey, Carl, what's up? And he's like, hey, man, how you been since you fucked us over on the, and I go like this. I just look at him. I go, huh? He goes, yeah, you fucked us over on the rent and blah, blah, blah. I go,
$200.
he's with his girlfriend. I go, you want to go outside? I'm going to beat the shit out of you right now. I go, say that again and I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
That's
and he
why
was
I
like,
respect you. Good
yeah.
job, man.
I was like, I'm going to fucking punch you in front of I go, don't you dare ever say I fucked you. I was so mad. And then he's like, I'm just saying. And then I talked to the other guy. He's like, yeah, he screwed me over. He sublet his spot out for more money. And
It's always a motherfucker like that, too. He's a little bitch. He got called on his shit. And then he did the same fucking thing.
That's how it always
I'm
is.
so sick
Hypocrites.
of people just not, hypocrite, just shut up. I've for sure popped off at the mouth, but I have paid the price. And that's why I like it when motherfuckers get knocked out, because you need to get knocked out. It's the only thing that ever made me change and be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I better be ready to throw down or shut the fuck up.
No one gets knocked out.
And
anymore.
I like that.
No one
Nobody-
gets
they
knocked
still
out.
do.
Yeah, people
Yeah,
should
they
get
get
knocked out
for
Maybe
sure.
it's not in L.A.
I was just
No,
talking.
they're
LA
knocked
comedy
out.
scene.
No,
man.
LA, they get murdered.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? There's no knockout. It's
I
just
was just
murder.
talking to there's a gang in Hawaii that run the waves in Hawaii. You got to be part of the gang to be able to surf the lineup, and they're called Dahui. And I was just talking to one of them on the phone, and he's like, yeah, it's all changed. He's like, there's cameras everywhere now. He's like, you can't hit people anymore. And he's like, no one hits anyone, so everybody does whatever they want. And there used to be an order.
Yeah.
There used to be an order in comedy. There was you respected the older, even if they were shitty comics, you still had to kind of bow down to them because they'd been around for a while. And then if you were a joke thief, you got run out of the business.
That's amazing. I like that. I like honoring your elders. Maybe not bow down, but fucking honoring. I like that shit.
You just had to show respect for guys because out of you've been around long enough, you've paid your dues.
But it's you're the boomer generation of comics now.
Yeah.
And you've let this fall apart. There used to be an order, and then you guys got in charge, and you're all like, oh.
When's the last time anyone got popped?
I don't know.
The only person I've ever heard really that does it was Willie Barcena.
I don't even know Will.
What's popped?
Punch people.
Oh, well, he punched Nick Guerra.
He's punched a lot of people. He punched
He punched Nick.
Adam Hunter.
Nick Guerra's what, 5'4"?
Nick Guerra weighs 100.
Yeah.
Willie
Yeah.
Barcena is a bitch for punching Nick Guerra because that man, he punched a tiny guy.
You're getting
And
punched now.
That's fine. Come at me, bro. I'll take some hits. I got a knife. He fucking.
Oh, you are
punched-
with him. He loves knives.
Oh, I'm aware.
And he
Loves them.
Yeah.
And it was over nothing. Nick told me the whole story. It was weird. It was at a restaurant. It was uncalled for. It wasn't even. He said he stole a joke of his that he never heard, and it was 10 years earlier on a special that's not even out. It's impossible. He's accusing him of something that is literally impossible. I know Nick Guerra. He is not a. He's not a thief. That motherfucker's a right machine. He's a workhorse.
Oh yeah, he is. He's a good
works
comic
hard,
too.
And you punch a tiny guy
Yeah.
for an old bit that's impossible to steal at a restaurant, and sucker punched him too.
Yeah, I think he did the same to Adam Hunter.
He
I think.
sucker punched a smaller guy. That's not a man.
No.
That's a bitch.
And Adam, I wouldn't fuck with Adam Hunter. Adam Hunter's a
Yeah,
tough
he'll
kid.
fuck him up. Adam Hunter will fucking wrestle. And I know a motherfucker that opened for him. He said he was real. I'm half Mexican. I know that old school Mexican machismo piece of shit. They get all coked up and liquored up, and they try to like that pecking order. Like I'm not gonna name him, but he used to open for him, and he got down in MMA, and he's just featuring for the guy on the road. And
Jamie
Willie
Cannon.
would get drunk and say, like, fight me, like, wrestle me. And he's like, you're drunk. I don't want to. You get weird, overly aggressive, turns into something else. And he said he would make him fight him for, like, stage time, dude.
What?
But, like, drunk wrestling, but it got weird, you know?
It got,
And
it
I'm
got,
like,
I
oh,
never
God.
I never liked when dudes wanted to wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I was always like, especially in pools when you have like no clothes on, other than guys are like, come on, let's wrestle. I'm like, nah, there's something there, dude.
Yeah.
There's some kind of homosexual tendency.
Or just wanting to beat you up. It's
Yeah.
either they're gay or they want to fuck you up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Which
both.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because I had homies that were into jujitsu and I can't fight at all. I've been knocked out so many times.
That's why you have
Head
knives.
stomp. That's why I'm fucked, but I'm feisty. So I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get you. And so my
I get
friends,
you.
I like how this
This
is.
is the move. You see how he's quick with it too?
Yeah.
Fu-
He's
oh,
like the kind of
bro.
guy that holds a gun
I'm
sideways.
a survivor, dude. And then my homie's choking me out. I'm about to see the stars, but I'm a survivalist. He's jujitsu. He's bigger. He's stronger. And I just fucking gouge his eyes. I grab his head. I start breaking my cabinet door with it. I was kicked out of my house, and I'm no longer friends with those gentlemen. But I'm like, he started to fight me.
Yeah.
He started to choke
And this
me
is
out.
just like a wrestling
I
thing?
defended myself. I told him I don't want to wrestle. I don't know how to wrestle. He chokes me out.
When you're getting choked out,
I'll fucking
you'll do
what
any. I
gotta do.
got choked out in 9th grade. We had one black kid in my school, William Glenn, who's been at my shows at the Ice House, by the way. We're friends now. William Glenn was like twice our size. He was just so fucking tall and big, and he did martial arts. And I don't know why I put a sticker on his back that said "kick me." And like as I was delicately placing on
Why
his
you did that?
back,
Because you're like an old school sitcom bully.
he went like it was so quick. He turned around and just like my feet were off the ground. And I remember just like it was the first feeling of like, oh, you're getting choked out. And I had never been choked out. And I just remember like going like this to like say, like,
I'm done.
I'm dying. Like, stop. You're murdering me.
Yeah.
And then I woke up and I was like, and he was like, don't ever do that again. And I was like,
I always have the same move when I'm getting choked out. I come.
yeah.
Nice. Nice.
I've
I've been choked out before that too, so
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want it. Because you just wake up with the stars. You're like, oh fuck.
Speaking of gay wrestling, I did a new bit the other night. I hate to talk about bits, but it's like didn't go well. But I just want to talk about the subject matter. Have you watched Joe's Always Over at my house? Have you watched my dogs eat each other's pussies?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wait. Listen. This is where it gets really gross. So I have a 14-year-old dog that's blind, and then I have a 2-year-old dog that likes to have her pussy eaten. And she comes in the house, lays on her back,
Yep.
spread eagle.
Oh man.
And it's like the other one just like smells it. And she's like, oh, it's time. And she goes and does it. Now,
And she's got her dead white eye. It's like watching an elderly fucking person eat.
and my wife gets upset because
I'm
of it.
getting upset.
Yeah,
This
my
is
wife-
so
well-
gross.
Well, like
dude.
what I think is upsetting is like the young dog's underage. Is there an
Not in
age for
doggy years.
what? Oh yeah. Yeah. She's 14.
Yeah. She's
Okay. So like,
They say first dog year is still 1 year, and the second dog year is when it starts. So I think your dog's
really?
only like 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
but is it pedophilia if you're blind and you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
tell?
okay,
that
but
you're
here's
molested?
Yeah.
here's the worst
You
part.
just found your way to a pussy.
Here's the worst part
You
of
just sniffed your way
You
there.
sniffed
You
your way to a
can't
pussy,
tell.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You don't know that
That dog doesn't know.
You don't know
just
that
said
that
it had white
8-year-old
Russian
dog.
eyes.
Here's
Why's
the
it gotta
wor-
be Russian.
here's the worst part about my white Russian blind-eyed homosexual dog,
Lesbian.
lesbian.
We're all getting
She-
camped. I'm getting knocked out too
She
for defending.
Oh,
my
I'm
friend
definitely
Nick Garrett.
clipping that and tagging Willie
Oh,
Barcena.
come on, bro. You don't got to clip it. He'll find it. I'm sure
Turn
he
on the
will.
TikTok camera.
So the blind dog that eats the pussy will sometimes lick the little dog's foot. Like she'll be sitting there like she was eating pussy. She'll be licking her foot because she's blind, I think she doesn't know the difference between her pussy and her foot. And the joke I was doing on stage, I'm like, how bad is your pussy?
I just thought of
That a dirty
that
foot
saying,
thing.
like you pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. That's where this saying.
But like, I told the story on
Stop
stage.
pussyfooting
Where did you
around.
do this joke?
I did
lesbian
I did it
dogs.
twice, and I was expecting a roll. Oh, I did it at the Comedy Store the other night, and it did kill at the Comedy Store. But then I did it at the Long Beach Laugh Factory last night, and the audience looked at me like
Yeah, it's different down there.
Yeah.
they were like,
More like a road club.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
they were like,
can't-
what? The
yeah.
Comedy Store, it killed. When somebody came up to me afterwards, they're like, how bad does your pussy taste?
It tastes like a foot. Or how good does your foot taste?
It can be mistaken for a dirty foot.
Dang, that's gross.
But I'm like, the thing I was thinking about was one, the underage shit. Like I haven't explored that the dog is, and like also that like my wife gets mad and I'm like, if it was a dog and his dick was there and she came in and was like, would you? And she's like, no, that would upset me too. So it's not homophobia.
Yeah.
It's just like that the dogs are
just-
having sex in public. And we've got kids
No,
and they're just like, they do it all the time.
like them fucking is one thing. That's
Yeah.
like crazy. I'm like, what? Like dogs, I guess, you know, TikTok taught them a thing or
Yeah.
two.
Yeah.
These kids these days, these
I-
lesbian dogs.
I
But
wa-
dogs love to dive in and start licking some like moist shit. You know, you ever come out of the shower, your dog's all over
Yeah,
your feet.
yeah.
Like it's just,
They like blood too.
yeah, they just find some moist shit and they lick it. Your blind dog just doesn't know it's going in.
You know the
Might
friend.
be your blind dog might think it's just like keep stumbling upon a can of tuna fish or something like
Well, you know the friend. I'm not going to say her name on this, but Roxy today just put her nose right in her crotch, and I go, it must smell down there. And I didn't mean to like say it. It came out, and it's like one of my wife's friends. I go, must smell down there, and she goes, I'm on my period, and I was like, oh God.
That's fantastic. I love those lines. You're like, fuck, did I just say that?
Yeah, so like my
I
wife's
fucking
best friend.
said that.
But back to when you're talking about the TikTok thing, I watched a meme today that went around, and it's been shared a million times, and it's this Muslim guy talking about how the algorithm of Chinese and American and British TikTok is completely different. Like China makes sure that they see like math problems and success and academics and blah, blah, blah. And America just shows us all being assholes.
Twerking.
Right. And he goes, and he's like talking and everyone's like, yeah, you know, like reveling around this, like China's fucking us, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and they're showing you men and women dancing together. like he's always like some guy in a mosque, you know, like starting Footloose. And,
And your women are
but I'm
weird.
watching it and I'm like, yeah, but China's making fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Like, you know what you're not going to see in China? The X Games. And you're not going to see people, rock stars. And they're not going to see exciting, interesting shit because our people are all fucking jumping off cliffs and fucking doing backflips
You're
and
gonna see
triple.
obedience. That country scares me. Have you seen those videos?
Where they all walk in
Zero
line.
COVID policies and shit.
Yeah, that was what's his name? Xi Jinping,
Yeah.
whatever his name is. He was just a fucking idiot. He went too hard into the no COVID and then he couldn't back down.
Well, I
Well,
remember
yeah,
before
they're
COVID started
on
here and it was
lockdown
there, they were like
Building
hitting the street
hospitals.
with just like smoke, like
Yeah, they're like
And, like, grabbing
spraying
people off.
drone
Yeah, yeah.
disinfected in the
Yeah.
air. I'm like, okay, guys.
I think that's what created the hysteria. Because what scared me was, remember when COVID happened, they were like, China built a hospital in a week.
Yeah.
You know, like there's so many COVID cases. And I was like,
I was talking shit. I wasn't scared at all, and so much so that everyone started attacking me, and then I shut down. I shut up. I kept tweeting like, y'all acting like a bunch of pussy ass bitches. And then
did you get COVID?
Yeah, but like 2 years.
Right.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I got old school COVID.
Machete,
Yeah,
did
I
you get
got it.
COVID? Yeah. If Machete didn't die from COVID,
They say that's good for COVID.
how bad you get it?
It was not crazy. I got it after the vaccine though. I got
Oh.
vaccinated.
2-3.
Have you still not gotten it?
No COVID.
He was
No
with me.
COVID?
He was with me on New Year's Eve. I got it last year. and we were in Arizona at House of Comedy, and
We were riding around in a two-seater Mustang for a whole day.
yeah,
He had COVID. I didn't have COVID.
we stayed in the same condo.
It's weird like that. I don't get it. I
think
got it December 2020, and that's it.
Yeah, I got it right after you.
Oh, I had it a couple times. I don't
I want to find someone out
I
there.
don't remember.
I'd have gotten the audience who had it 3 times.
That's not
Yeah.
What's the big deal? It's just
No, I want to see if there's anyone out there, like one of our fans that's had it like
9 times.
Yeah.
Sam, the guy who's here last week, has had it 5 times.
5 fucking times.
Yeah. 5 times.
Does it get less every time?
Yeah.
I had the regular flu after COVID, and that was way worse than COVID
Yeah.
for me personally.
Wait a minute. 5 times?
5 times.
Like, is it just because I had a friend who got it the other day, and they're like, oh, I took a test, I have COVID, but
Did you get it?
yeah, and they go, I felt sick for like an hour, and then I take a test again, and I was negative, and I'm like, you don't get rid of it in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You think?
No, with NyQuil.
I remember I did your podcast, and I talked about. You're like, don't talk about vaccines. They'll shadow ban me.
They fucking do.
You really think?
I've witnessed it. You get dinged with those stupid banners, and they push you into weird areas. I don't know if you get shadow banned, but your numbers won't be what they could have been.
On what? On Instagram?
Yeah, all of
Yeah.
it. YouTube too. If you cuss too much in the first 2 minutes, bro, I don't even want to talk about it because I'm scared of it. And it's
Are we
happened
gonna
to
get
bigger
shit-
people than me.
Are we gonna get shadow banned for talking about dogs eating pussy?
Not that, but maybe saying vaccine 19 times still. They get weird about that.
Yeah.
They flag it. It's very weird.
Vaccine.
I mean, it's your
vaccine.
podcast. Go ahead, bro. And it's having a large account, smaller.
We're on
accounts.
we're on private anyways to watch on YouTube.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's just weird. It sucks. Like people do what they did.
Vaccine.
I was talking to Chelsea Lynn. They deleted her account.
Chelsea who?
Chelsea Lynn, Trailer Trash Tammy, and she doesn't even say she's just a wild human.
Yeah.
They deleted her at like 1 million followers, and she had to restart.
Yeah, but Trump's back.
No, on Instagram.
I know, but I'm
She's
saying
no
like
girl. I'm just
I'm saying-
saying, but like, did you decapitate a motherfucker at their peak success for what? And she wasn't even doing that. She's just a rebel. I don't even know.
I just tell everybody when people go, how come you aren't bigger? I go, I've been shadow banned since I started.
I believe it because you don't shut up.
I was the first person shadow banned.
Yeah.
Well, we were. Machete, remember we started this podcast? They literally pulled it down.
That shit's real.
Like-
You laugh at it. I've seen it happen to so many
he-
people.
He'll tell you this. We first did the first was it 2010? 2011 we started talking shit. And Jim and I did like a couple episodes and we were like posting, and then the third episode was called I Guess I'm Gonna Eat This Dude's Cunt. And it was based on this story.
And that'll get you.
Well,
and
boom.
that'll get you.
It
Boom.
was based on Eddie's
Everything.
dog's life
Yeah.
story.
all of a sudden it was gone. The show was gone.
No shit, motherfucker.
on-
That shit is real.
Off Apple. And we
Yeah.
were like, so we contacted them and they were like, well, you can't have shit in your name. So we changed it to like talking
Talkins.
SH asterisk T. Can't have that. So we changed S asterisk T. Can't have that. So we changed it to Talkins Hit. And they were like, okay. Well, then they put, so we kept getting taken down and we're like, what the fuck is happening? Because we're like, how do they have time
They're like,
to like,
sir, we're
Nerds
glad
or
you saw.
AI, you know, out
We
there.
were
We're
like, how do they
we're
figure-
glad you solved the shit problem. You also have a title that has cunt in it.
Yeah.
So take that
well,
down.
so then Machete calls Apple.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey,
Who is this? This is Machete.
that's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, oh, Machete, I know you. And he's like, how do you know me? He's like, oh, I listen to the show. Some
Good-
guy at fucking
good call.
Cupertino.
It's a good call in Cupertino.
Yeah.
True story, yeah. It was back when you can call and get somebody. That's how. This was
Back when you could call and get somebody at Apple,
Get a
as
human
opposed to
being.
now where you can get anybody anywhere at any company.
No. And
There's
you
no
can't-
phone numbers
you-
for companies
no.
anymore.
You can't get a
None.
family member.
No.
The phone.
You know what? We got taken off for not having what is it? Explicit on.
Oh, yeah. We didn't have explicit. So remember that fight? We got really mad at her. Yeah, that caused a big fight with Lindsay.
Producers didn't put explicit.
She forgot to put explicit, and that's why we got yanked down. But it was funny just getting
Yeah,
yanked
like
up.
a
But
cowboy.
then we got Jim started a fight with the Apple sisters, which was just this random podcast. He was like, thought it'd be funny to start a fight with a random podcast. So he just picked one and he's like, those girls are fucking blah, blah, blah. And everybody just jumped in thinking it was funny because we didn't know them. They were like an old time radio show.
Yeah.
Their managers called my managers. They called Jim's, and they're like, what do you guys do? And we were like, we're just fucking around. But Apple pulled us down again. And we were like,
You couldn't have fucked with the IBM sisters. You had to fuck with the
I know,
Apple
I know.
sisters.
but we found out that like some guy from one of the ad agencies that does ads he did ads for them, and he had enough pull that he called Apple and had us like, so like what the point I'm trying to make is like, it's a very small group of people and they're aware of anything with any kind of popularity.
I've enraged a very dangerous group of people. I've enraged Swifties.
What are
Taylor
Swifties?
Swift.
Oh, yeah.
Swifties.
I put the simplest first bit of that Taylor Swift joke on TikTok, and it keeps getting flagged for community guidelines, even though it's nothing wrong, just because psycho Taylor Swift fans are saying it's like offensive.
I got PETA, the animal organization, sent me death threats, or PETA people,
Yeah.
because of the when I threw the firecrackers at the horses. with
And you just told the story about
police.
it?
I told the story.
The story. So
Yeah.
you get in trouble for a story that might, that's the funniest thing about comedy, that your story is real and is true. You are, you know, you are,
They don't know
you are,
that,
you
though.
are an
They
enemy.
don't know it's true.
Yeah.
You're an enemy of the
And it
horse.
was an accident. And that is true. I didn't even see them. I was so wasted. I threw firecrackers on the ground, and then I looked up, and then I saw police. I didn't intentionally do it. I changed that for comedy, you know? And then I was like, oh, no. And they didn't even see me do it. I made it past them. We did a little walk by. I was like, oh, God, you know, you do the whole pray. And then somebody ratted on me, and then I started running, and then they got me. But PETA, I just went in a hole because I made the paper, and all these people were trying to kill me, or said they were trying. They didn't try. And
if Ari Shafir didn't get killed for what he said about Kobe, no one's ever getting
I don't
killed
know.
from threats like
those
that.
cats, I would have got killed. Cat
You think?
people. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, cat people horse people are the craziest.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Horse
You're
people
right.
are the craziest.
Their death threats were crazy though. They're like, we're gonna tie you to horses and pull you apart, or we're gonna wrap you in a rug and give you a Mongolian death. Every death with horses,
Yeah.
that's what they were saying. We're gonna drag you in the desert.
I think I wrote half those.
Yeah, nice.
Wouldn't it be funny if I was like, that was me? I was just
And then
fucking-
I had this special community come after me too, because I said retarded in my act, and it went viral. And then they attacked me for the R word.
I made a joke to Albie Layer once about, I said something about, he said something and I said, that's because you're mentally, he said that challenged my mental ability. I go, that's because you're mentally challenged. And some guy like lost his mind on me about, he's like, of course you being, what do they call people that aren't mentally, you know how there's like cisgender?
Ableist.
Yeah, it's like, of course you being like,
Full abled.
yeah, would make fun of like
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, I don't even.
And you're like, talk to anybody who knows me. I'm not full able.
yeah, I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? I just hate all that shit. But the people when they attack you online like that, I've learned so funny. Once I got like a social media manager, I stopped looking at any social media, and I realized the more they fight beneath your videos,
You have more,
The more views.
more steam. You
So,
get.
like-
all the interaction is good.
so I go,
I went viral, bro.
Yeah, so I go, so I just go, I don't even have time to read their dumb fucking comments.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's what makes it go, is people arguing and
Yeah,
fighting.
I would be petty and be like, "Fuck you, ho," you know,
Yeah, yeah.
just funny shit. Eat
Oh,
my ass.
I
after
used to get mad.
diarrhea.
I used to get mad, and when someone would fight with me online, I'd just go in and I'd just like find pictures of like their kids, and I'd just be like, "Wow, your kid's ugly," you know, or something that, like I know
Now, that's how you
would,
get it.
would
That's a good
really
guy right
get
there.
under their skin,
He
like
went there.
really, really, and then it's like they want to fucking murder. But then I think about it sometimes. I'm on stage and I'm like, that guy could be in the audience and just be like,
Well, that happened. Somebody DM'd me on Twitter from
A
a burner
Swiftie?
account. No, this is a couple of years ago. I think it was because it was like the Kaepernick thing on the Dirty Sports. We were talking about Kaepernick and like I was like, all these fucking military guys who, oh, this is like disrespectful to us. I'm like, you're such fucking pussies. You're like going to war. And you're crying because some guy is like not fucking saluting the flag. And this guy DM'd me and he goes, I found your address. This is when I was living on the boardwalk. He goes, you live right across from the Sidewalk Cafe. I was a Marine sniper, and I know that from the roof of the Irwin Hotel, I have an angle to shoot you coming out your back door.
Did
I
you
was
say,
like,
come get it, bitch?
Yeah. I was like, fuck you. Try me.
Yeah.
You should have said, I'm suicidal and I don't have the balls to do it.
Yeah. That's what I do all the time. Yeah.
I'll be getting out easy. I'm a comic.
I was like, do you know how, but what a legendary death that would be. Shot by a sniper for some fucking
For a
podcast
joke about
episode.
about Colin Kaepernick. But look, people kill for less.
I know. I actually, Swifties are like, they're a psychotic group that I'm already. Did I tell you, I did a show at the West Side recently, and I told my Taylor Swift joke, and the comic who went on after me
She trashed you.
trashed me for 5 minutes.
Was she a
called me
Swiftie?
Yeah. And I found that out after. Like, I looked up at her Instagram, and like the last thing she had posted was like a screenshot from Spotify saying, you were in the first 0.01% of people to listen to Taylor Swift's new album. When I came off stage, she went on stage and she shook her head at me, and I was like, what joke did I do that she's like shaking her head at? And then I was just sitting in the green room, and I got a message halfway through her set from my manager who was there. Was like, did you just hear all that? And I was like, no, what? She's like, she trashed you for 5 minutes and then called you a hack. Called you a loser, a fucking somebody who hates women. You're a hack. Yep. And then went to
Did she get any laughs whatsoever?
No. So
Of course
apparently she was getting laughs in the beginning because people thought it was a joke, and then it kept going, and everybody's like, "Oh, she's like serious." And then she was 5 minutes into her 10-minute set. She was like, "I should do jokes now." And then she was like, "I can't. I'm too upset."
Oh, wow.
And then she came back into the green room and yelled at me to my face.
Well,
they're unhinged. That's a psychotic
that's exactly what
person.
I said.
That's a psychotic.
She
Do
came
your
back-
fucking job and tell a joke.
She came back and she was like, I bet you if I
You
went
made
on
fun of
stage
Taylor
and made fun of
Swift.
Bruce Springsteen, you'd get us out. I was like, you could literally murder Bruce Springsteen on stage. I wouldn't
You
give
made
a
fun
fuck.
of a
I don't think
singer.
I don't think there's
You make fun of her
anyone.
mom or
No.
brother or sister. Or like, yeah, I know I say the word retarded. If you have somebody in your family that's mentally ill, that may trigger you.
Yeah.
I am expecting that.
Yeah.
But Taylor fucking
Can you imagine
Swift?
being a good enough, like, or being respected enough, or like having enough of a career that you're on the 8 o'clock Saturday show at the West Side Comedy Theater, one of the better clubs in LA, and you abandon your set to talk because
to
you're upset
defend
about
Taylor Swift?
who doesn't give a fuck about
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm a huge Taylor Swift
Me
fan.
too.
No, fuck
But
Taylor Swift.
I reserve your right to make fun
Yeah.
of that.
I made the front page of the
They're gonna come at
I
you.
made the front page of the Adelaide Gossip, the newspaper in the gossip section, because I was at a Taylor Swift concert, and there was a picture of me in the front row at the concert, and the title said, "Who knew Eddie Ifft was a Taylor Swift fan?" And I went because some guy was like, we knew this guy from Venice, and he was over
I'll
there
dance
filming
her
the
shit.
documentary.
I like her.
And he was like, "Hey, you want to
Yeah,
come?" And we
she's
were like,
garbage.
I had never,
Yeah, she's
I had
garbage,
never
but
seen her,
I'll
but
dance her music.
I kind of liked the concert.
Yeah, of course. I'll go to her show and I'll shake my ass. But yeah, she's probably garbage.
And I feel like she's truly like cultivated a toxic fan base of people. Like her fans attack people who say anything bad about
But
her.
you were telling me, you were trying to like,
Yeah, but like I was trying to do it with a joke and like put the joke out and rage some on. Like, can you imagine? Like, I can't. You know, Adam Hunter called my mom a cunt once at a comedy show.
As a joke, right?
He was on stage and the woman next to my mom was heckled, and he thought it was my mom, and he called my mom a cunt, and I didn't go on after him and fucking talk shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This girl's upset about fucking a Taylor Swift joke, and then
Yeah.
she was like, "And you're defending Jake Gyllenhaal? He had sex with her when she was a child." And I go, "How old is she?" She goes, 22. I was like, "A 22-year-old woman's a child now?" I go, "How would you feel if Donald Trump came out this year and was like, I want to make it so women no younger than 23 can vote?" you would be like, what? We're fucking adults. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you fucking, like, it was insane. Her name is Paige Weldon, by the way. We should, I mean, if I'm going to talk shit, that was the comic who did it. Paige Weldon went up on stage.
Well,
Unhinged.
I said that about the show. Like, when we talk shit, I also don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings or talk about like. But if
I'm
you
not
got
hurting anybody's
Hey,
feelings.
If you
man,
got a
I'm gonna
beef
get
with her-
knocked out by an aggressive Mexican.
yeah, we
dude,
did
so
already
here we
mention.
go.
If we're gonna talk
No,
about
but
our,
I didn't say anything that didn't happen.
if we're gonna talk about our beefs, I got one right now.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to bring my cousins to the show. I need back.
I know you're gonna. I feel like you're going to need this now.
Whatever. It'll make another article. I'll get a story out of it, and I might catch another.
So can
case.
can I talk about mine?
Yeah.
I'm partly in the wrong, but the other night, I do these shows at the Comedy Store, and I have like friends on. You'll do the show someday when we're friends,
I haven't done it.
and but I have a pretty good lineup. I like big names, and like last week, I had Damon Wayans, Patton Oswalt, Doug Benson, Santino. Who else was on? Nick Thune. All like pretty good list of comics. 5 minutes before the show, not 5 minutes, like an hour before Patton canceled. And I was like, fuck, like
Wow.
that's a big one.
yeah.
Damon canceled earlier in the day.
No.
That's a big one. And I was like, fuck, I'm in a really stressed position. I'm like trying to figure
Where
out
are you
what
going
I'm
to find another Wayans? On
Yeah.
short notice?
What is with that genius family? They're all genius. It's just crazy.
So I drive up to the Comedy Store. I'm like, hopefully I'll find someone there that I could throw on the audience.
Anybody here a Wayans?
Yeah. And then
Are there any Wayans here?
All right. Any rocks? Any
Yeah.
of the rock
I
comedy
need a
family?
rock or a Wayans?
Rock or is there a black family that does
Who'd
comedy?
you get?
So I'm in full panic mode looking around. I come outside to see Theo Vaughn. Theo and I are old friends. We've known each other for fucking over 20 years. We've toured together. We've done everything. I'm like, Theo will do this for me. We're friends, blah, blah, blah. And so we start having a conversation. I don't want to like just walk up to him and like, I don't want to fucking just be like, hey man, I need you to do my show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what's going on? We're having a conversation. Everything's good. And then another comic comes out and something went on. I don't know what happened, but something went on in the I always forget the names of the
Belly
rooms.
room? Original
No,
room.
the original room. Something happened with them because the guy like starts going in on Theo. And listen, this story gets fucking crazy.
Oh no.
Yeah, but you'll have to join the Patreon to hear the rest.
Who, me? I'm not
No.
paying for shit, bro.
Craig's like, I don't care
No,
about the rest
we
of the
we
story.
only do 20 minutes free on the show, and
Oh.
then you got to go to Patreon to hear the rest.
Oh, that's a good gimmick. I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah. Is that a good gimmick? That's what
I
that
don't
little
know.
bell's for. That's a
Yeah.
cliffhanger. All right. So anyway, now we're on
What happened?
Patreon.
Oh shit.
So here's what happens. They're fighting, like not fighting. They're having an argument. I can kind of, I'm not sure, but I think it was. And so I walk away immediately. I think who else was with us? Someone else was with us. Conversely, was it Sickler? No, I forget who. Somebody else. And we all are like, these guys need their privacy. We'll walk. So I walk away. I leave them. But it's getting like more and more time. I got to find a guest for the show. And I'm like, so I like come back like 10 minutes later. They're still talking. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to walk by and I'm going to just like give him a little tap and go as I'm walking so that he sees I'm not like, hey, can I talk? Like I'm still like I'm going to go, hey man, if you want to come in and do a spot, just, and Theo's super famous now.
yeah.
And I go, hey. And he turns around and he stares me with like death eyes. And he goes, I'm having a conversation. And I was like, wow. Like, wow.
It must have been a weird. Theo's a nice guy. It must have been a weird.
He is a nice
whatever
guy.
was happening in that.
But like
conversation.
my reaction was to like, in my head, I was like about to go, fuck you. Like, don't fucking like all you had to do was go, excuse me, man. Hey, can't you see I'm talking? Like, you don't even say, can't you see I'm talking? Like if somebody did that to me, my reaction would be, hey man, I'm sorry. I can't talk. I'm busy. Like,
I don't know, man.
don't you dare take his side. You
No,
kiss ass.
because I mean, Theo can go dark, but If I'm fighting with somebody, don't interrupt. You're in fight mode, dude.
Hey, I didn't see fight mode.
You said it was weird and it was bad.
But this is 10 minutes
Because
later.
I've yelled at
It's
up and comers
10
when I'm trying to sell my hoodies after a show. I'm like, not fucking now. And I'm
Oh, then
nice
you're a
guy.
dick. No, then you're a
it's-
dick.
No, because
You're
they're
a
cutting the
dick.
line off to my income to buy me these Stussy fucking hoodies.
You're a
You know what I mean?
dick. You're a dick.
Oh, yeah. I said I'll smoke you out and talk to you an hour after the show. Move over. I have people coming. People don't get. I don't know you. The way you set it up, it seemed like they were going through some shit.
They were.
and you were trying to interrupt in a polite
But
way.
I listen.
I understand
Yes,
both
but-
sides.
but
I agree
now-
with you and him.
But
Two people
now,
on both
now I
sides.
don't like your opinion because I find out you're yelling at open micers that like just want to talk to you.
Hey, they cutting in line to my money. I'll yell at you. You don't cut in my line. It's just like people. It's like
And then if you have to tell them a second time, it's with a blade.
no. That's only if I'm being choked out. I'm scared for my life. That's all.
I
I'm a simple, peaceful
no, but
man. Just
I
don't
thought it
choke me
I
out.
thought it had cooled down, and the reason I didn't come back at Theo with like "fuck you" kind of thing was I also don't want to bombard him after it's happened once.
Right.
So I just walked away. But I thought Theo's a nice guy. Like the next day, I'll probably get a message like, "Hey man, sorry about last night. I was just in the middle of something." But nothing.
I love him to death, but the more successful he gets, it seems that he's having trouble finding happiness.
That happens to a lot of guys.
It's crazy to me. But he's the only headliner that called me when I got fired from Trader Joe's. I'll say that. Put that on the record.
What did he say? I'm sorry to hear about Trader Joe's.
Yeah. What a sweetheart. That's what I mean. I know he's got a heart of gold.
When you
love
got
him.
fired, I was like, congratulations.
Yeah.
Because it's good for your career because you'll work
You were
harder in your
kind to
career.
me. He was kind to me. Sam Tripoli made me cry because you don't even realize what happens, because you're just in machine mode. You're like,
Yeah.
just fucking Mike, get it. And then he's like, congratulations. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you headline now.
Yeah.
Like, you made it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I did? Because I thought I was still failing as I'm trying to sell tickets. I'm trying to sell
Well, let me
hoodies,
tell
I'm
you
trying
what.
to
You're
do-
all-
here.
And I'm
You're here.
Yeah, you failed.
Yeah.
If you're here,
Yeah, I'm not talking
You're here
shit.
right now.
no,
And then
you'll
he,
always feel like you're failing. I
Yeah.
think it never goes. What Chris Rock told me once when.
Sam Tripoli connected me to you. Remember? He vouched for
Oh
me.
yeah, it's true.
My first ever
Sam's
gigs
got
were
a
all
great
Sam
eye for
Tripoli.
talent.
He's
Great
like,
eye for
this-
talent.
He had me on. He's gave me my first paid gig.
Except for you.
He gave me my first Vegas spot ever. And then he had me on his podcast. It was the first Famous Fucks podcast I ever did because I have crazy stories. I was funny. And then I met you at the Comedy Store. And then Sam said, have this kid on. He's fucking nuts. And then you did. And then I made you laugh. And then you put me in your fucking pilot, remember?
Yep, I think Sam recommended Steve Randolph to me, who
Hey,
told me great
You put
stories.
me in your pilot and you knew me like an hour, bro.
we
You
were
just
we
looked
were
at
desperate.
me and you were just like, no, because you knew. You were desperate too. You were absolutely desperate. Be like,
Because
this
he asked
kid.
13
'Cause I
other
was like
people
2
first.
years in,
Yeah.
it's fucking nobody knows.
The
shit
next
yet.
guest, Gareth Reynolds, you took his spot. It was Gareth was going to be the spot
What, on the show?
on the pilot.
Oh, yeah. He was supposed to go with you on tour and then he couldn't do it.
No, it wasn't Gareth.
It was for the pilot, I think.
The pilot
That was
was
just the
Gareth.
pilot.
Yeah,
Because I switched with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
You did the first half of the
And then
Bingo
we
Bus
crossed over
tour.
in Denver. Yeah.
Yeah, we did one show
I have
together.
news for you. No matter what tour you'll go on in your lifetime, that'll be much more successful if you go on like Bert's fucking machine tour where you're on a bus and you're taking helicopters to places. You'll still remember
Almost
the Bingo
dying
Bus
from
tour.
carbon monoxide.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You will remember that tour more than any tour you
For
ever go
sure.
on. Yeah, because it's like fucking the Bad News Bears.
Who was I farting with in the bed? I met this kid the day in the morning, and then we're sharing a bed, and him and Bud. It's 4 grown
Mayor of
men
Fartown.
in a
Yeah.
hotel.
Mayor of Fartown.
Yeah, I love
Tim
that
McLaughlin.
guy. Tim McLaughlin, and it's me and Tim and Bud and Eddie, and just 4 men. In
I remember
the
the night,
two-bedroom.
the one night we crossed over, I wasn't leaving until the next morning, but there was only like however many hotel beds.
You
So
slept
I
on the
slept
bus?
on the Bingo Bus on the streets of Denver.
Yeah,
I slept in the Bingo Bus 1 or 2 nights.
yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And
It
then we were just farting, literally Mayor of Fartown and fucking farter, and we're both farting, and we're just laughing.
I think I
bro.
slept on it once because I was afraid the equipment was going to get
Yeah,
robbed.
We're in a bad area.
So I'm like,
Dude,
I'll
I'm gonna
fucking
sleep in here.
sleep in here to fight
I
them
give
when
you
they
my
come
knife, and you defended your home.
And then all you wanted was when you got back was for it to get stolen.
Do you guys know it still exists?
Where's the Bingo Bus?
Do you know
You
it's?
sold it, right?
dude, there's this comic who kept calling me. And like when I was selling the bingo bus, he's like, I want to buy it. And I was like, I'm not selling it to you. And he's like, why not? I'm like, because I don't want to see it again. I was like, it's like, to me, it's like it represents my failure. And I was like, I just don't want it in my life. And it's also part of my brand. And I don't want him being connected to my brand where everybody like sees him like, are you working with Eddie Ifft? You know, like I don't want us together. No offense to him, but like, it's not what I choose. So he calls me. I said, no, I explained to him in a nice way why I don't want him to. Then another guy shows up to see it one day. I left it with my wife, sell this thing. So this guy shows up and he goes, hey, I'm here to buy it. I'm looking at him and he looks like the other guy. And I'm like, you related to him? And he goes, yeah, he's my brother. And I'm like, what's he doing? And he's like, he's in the car right there. And I get him out of the car. I go, what the fuck are you doing here? I said no. And you're trying to buy it by a proxy here. Like, fuck off. You're not buying my fuck. He's like, I got a kid now. I got to start a business. I want to start a podcast studio. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I'm mad. So then we finally sell it through a broker to some guy in Connecticut. There are all these weird laws about it. You had to like get it out of the state by 2021 or something because CARB, California Air Resource Board. So like I couldn't drive it anymore or I'd go to jail. And I like had to get it out of California.
I mean, if you get pulled over.
True.
Yeah.
True. Like that thing's not begging to be pulled over.
Whatever. They're busy.
So I sell it to this guy in Connecticut who like a month later sends me a thing going, hey, you owe me like $3,000. I had to pay this like tax or something from California. I'm like, no, bullshit. So like I fight with him. And the next thing you know, he gets a lawyer and a lawyer contacts me. We're going to sue you. I'm like, for $3,000, then let's go. Let's have fun. We'll see. You know, I'll go to small claims court with you. So that's it. That's all I see. Then one day, all these comics send me. They're like, are you bringing back the bingo bus? Are you bringing it back? And I'm like,
off that fucking Connecticut guy.
That Connecticut dude, I think was a proxy for him.
No way.
So he had that guy buy it. Then he tried to sue me. Then had the audacity to fucking like, and then he's like trying to drive it around. I'm not going to say because I don't want to give him any publicity, but.
Does it still have bingo bus on the side?
Yeah, I think it does.
I mean, you should have spray painted that shit black real quick.
Yeah.
But I also feel bad. I don't know if Nick, I'll take the lick, but I don't know if Nick Guerra wants that out there as I was thinking about that. Oh, whatever.
I think it's been out there a lot.
It has, right?
I think so.
Okay,
I've heard that. I've heard that many.
Oh, okay. Then I don't feel bad. But I'm like, did he not want to?
But if I am going to talk shit, also, Orny Adams used to give me so much shit about
everybody shit.
About you're driving your bus. Where's your bus? Where's your bus? You're doing a podcast on a bus.
Say whatever,
and I was,
Teen Wolf.
And I was always like, what's the big deal? Like, it's a fucking great idea.
It is fun. I immediately wanted to do one too, and I still do. It's just very expensive.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
It was so expensive. It was so hard to maintain. But Orny does a show now on an RV.
Are you kidding?
I swear to God.
See, it's always the people.
It's always the people.
Look at the guy talking shit. Who did it?
Yeah.
Who did it? Those motherfuckers. Anybody popping off, that's the motherfucker guilty or whatever.
It's a great idea. I think Steve-O's pulling it off. Steve-O has a van that he goes around and does a podcast in. I'm trying to think who else has
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I immediately want to do it. It's just so expensive. So I just drilled greenery on my apartment wall, and that's where my studio
Yours looks
is.
good, though.
It looks great. It's just what green.
It looks better than this.
Curtains,
it looks better than this wallpaper.
Motherfuckers think it costs. It's like, dude, that shit was $80 from China.
What do you think of this?
That's fantastic. You need to accent.
Don't say that, because
I like it too.
Greg, who runs this, thinks this is great.
I like it.
It's life. It's colorful. It doesn't really match you. It's more kind of for like a little bitch. I'm just kidding. No, it's pretty. I was just trying to take a shot at you.
Now I know Greg's probably watching on the live stream right now.
I love plants. I have plants
and he's watching it and he's going, see, I knew it was right.
I told you I liked it when I walked in. When we first saw the place, you went back and you showed it to your wife, and she was like, "Yeah, do something about the wallpaper." I was like, "Wallpaper's great."
Looks like somebody threw up Skittles.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It looks like somebody fucking vomited Skittles.
It's great. I like that it's peeling in the corner. Hey, Greg, can you use some of that
I'll
rehab money to get some paste?
I'll
behind
bet
that?
it has something to do with rehab. Like it's like soothing or something for
nice.
drug
No
addict.
wonder I
Yeah.
like
That's why you two like it.
it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Because this is where they'd come in and didn't they told us they did like AA meetings here.
I bet.
Do you ever go to meetings?
No, I stopped a long time ago. I went the first 2 years of sobriety. I haven't been in like 8 years.
This is kind of a small
Are you
room.
are you like 100% sober?
I started smoking weed during the pandemic. I'm
Yeah.
on the reefer now. I now microdose some mushrooms. But I
Oh,
haven't
you're
tripped yet.
California fucking
Hell yeah,
sober.
doggy. Have you fucking were you here when that lockdown happened? What
Yeah.
the fuck
What
was
else were
that?
you gonna do?
They
Yeah.
arrested surfers.
Yeah.
They arrested surfers.
We still surfed every day.
I know. Lachlan told me stories of them just blasting the sirens at him.
Yeah. Did he?
He's like, I'm by myself. And then he said he went in and had a conversation, and he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, it's the law. Like, if you get injured, you can take up a hospital bed. And then, Lachlan's smart as fuck. He's like, okay, what about rollerblades on Amazon? Are you arresting Amazon for selling rollerblades? Because that breaks wrists. That takes up hospital bed. And the cop just,
Leave it to Lachlan.
Yeah.
Fucking
Leave it to Lachlan.
zero
Immediately go to
logic.
rollerblades.
But I would be hiking during the lockdown when you weren't supposed to be. And I was like, they were like, all trails are closed, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, ours is kind of private behind our house. And I'd be back there and helicopters would go over. And I'm like, are they fucking like looking for
Yes.
us in helicopters
Yes.
right now?
the devil's winning.
It did get a little weird. If you look
It's
back
a
at
little
this,
weird.
it got, I mean, look,
I got yelled at for not wearing a mask across the street from a lady walking opposite directions. That's not a little weird. That lady should have been shot in her face for what she did to me. That was a joke. Nobody laughed. I feel really crazy for saying that.
well, because with you, it's a real threat.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I got one gun.
I was in a ski shop in what fucking town was it? Was it Whistler? I think it was Whistler. And I go in to get I forget to put my mask on. I'm wearing like a helmet.
Oh, Canada? Is that Canada?
Yeah, and I forget to put my mask on. And I walk in the ski shop and the guy goes, out, out, out. I'm like, what? He goes, mask, put a mask on. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, man. I totally forgot. Because you don't have to wear the mask outside, but when you go inside, you have to wear it, or on the chairlifts, you have to wear it. And I just totally forgot. He
On the
goes,
side of the box, it says masks don't work.
yeah.
On the box that they sell them in. It says this does not work.
So the guy goes,
Not
put your
in those
mask on.
words.
And I go, I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. He goes, it's only been 2 years. And I was like, I'm glad you're so into this.
Yeah.
Like that's your,
And like you can't forget something after 2 years.
yeah.
I forget my keys all the fucking
Yeah.
time.
And they don't work.
No, the cloth masks don't. That's the exercise in futility.
It's fucking insane.
I don't know.
I
Condoms
didn't do
don't work
shit.
either.
I barely tried to not get COVID and didn't get COVID. Like that's just the proof that it doesn't fucking matter.
I know
You're
people
either
that
gonna
like,
get it or you're not.
I know
gonna get
people that like stayed in their house, never left, and they got it.
Yeah.
And then people like you, my buddy Hunter McIntyre was on a plane every day. He was fucking skanky bitches. He was like, he just laughed at it. He would be in like bars with like
and we
college
know skanky
kids.
bitches were like a petri dish for COVID.
Yeah, he
Skanky
was
bitches got
he
more
was
than anybody.
everywhere. And I'm like, did you get COVID yet? He's like, nope, not yet. Not yet.
Hunter's the kind of guy that would lie and just have COVID and be like, feel great.
He did the Ironman yesterday.
Sounds like my father.
Do you know this, Machete? Hunter did the Ironman without training.
Hunter would like have COVID and he'd be like deadlifting things. He'd be like, I have no taste buds
Dude.
anymore, but I feel awesome.
I know a guy I had on the podcast who did there's a workout called Murph in CrossFit, which is you run a mile, then you do 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, then run a mile. And we all
It's
do
not
it.
possible.
We all do it once a year.
It's not possible.
And Hunter actually has a world record. It's like 34:20 or 34:10, and 34 minutes and 10 seconds. He did that. It takes me something like 40 minutes or more than 40. What am I? Oh, Hunter did it with a 20-pound. You have to do it with a 20-pound weight vest on too, by the way. I do it without the weight vest. 38 minutes is my best. There's a guy who did it with the weight vest, 365 days in a row. And I watch his Instagram, and he always talks about like the day, what it was like, and he adds little things into it to make extra. One day he goes, "It's been kind of hard today since I have COVID."
He's still doing it?
He did it every day with COVID.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I called him.
Great.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he told me then later on in the year, he got like a bad case of some like kind of diarrhea. And he was like, that was way worse than COVID. He's like, I thought I was going to die. And I'm like, you don't have to do this. He's like, no, I committed. I'm going to do it. He did
Nah, man.
nothing.
Give up.
No.
I know. I
Quit.
was like, I quit I didn't do my show that I got COVID, and I called the comedy club, and I'm like, I
Yeah,
got
you
COVID.
got
I'm
COVID.
done. New Year's Eve. I
I
couldn't
had
do
to
New Year's
cancel
Eve.
Side splitters. I got COVID.
Yeah.
I was
He
like,
had to replace me on New Year's Eve.
Well, no, you did New Year's Eve, and then
Oh, that's when I got
New Year's
it.
Day, we found out you had COVID.
No one was going to be there that
Yeah.
night anyways. Who goes out on the night after New Year's Eve?
Was there anyone there?
Yeah, it was half full. It was
Man.
good actually.
Who goes out on that night?
I think
though?
it was this. I think you got it on. I think New Year's Eve was Friday last year, so I ended up doing Saturday and Sunday. And Saturday was fine, but Sunday was like.
I deal with these drunken white lady hecklers, man. They're getting stronger and
Yeah, man.
stronger.
Do you get 'em?
There's more and more. of
They're
'em.
like, that's by far the worst group, right?
White ladies.
White ladies.
White ladies.
All the privilege of white men with none of the hard work, and they have the audacity to fucking be yelling out at comedy shows all the time.
What? 95, 98, if I'm being real
Yeah.
honest. 98% of the time it's a white lady.
Kevin Brennan said that years ago. He goes, it's always a white woman with brown hair and glasses.
Mine's blondie, blue eyes.
Yeah,
Really?
a lot
I
of blondes.
feel
Yeah,
like
a lot
they're-
of blondes. A lot of blondes.
They're all Swifties.
A lot of Swifties.
You know who used to be the old Swiftie? I used to get in trouble with. I used to do a joke about who's the guy that I look like that won American Idol or came in second.
Clay Aiken.
Clay Aiken.
Yeah.
I used to make a joke about him, and I'd go like
a
when
white lady.
I did Last Comic Standing. My opening joke was, "I know what you're all thinking. Why is Clay Aiken doing Last Comic Standing?" And people laughed, and I'd go, "Yeah, it's funny that I look like a little gay guy, a little gay singer or something." And it was before he came out of the closet. I got hate mail, like, because I had never had any kind of fame like that. And Last Comic Standing, 10 million people watched it. I didn't even know. And all of a sudden, the next day, it was like, I'm getting all these like, saw you on TV, and then it just started like, how dare you make fun of Clay Aiken?
Yeah.
And they just started and so it went quickly from like,
Why can't you make fun of people anymore? How
It's
dare
ridiculous.
you? But Clay Aiken? Wait, we're
I
not talking
s-
about MLK Jr.
Yeah,
here. It's Clay
I s-
fucking Aiken, guys.
I saved, these were emails I got. They got my email off my website. I saved every single email in a file. And they all fucking ripped on me. You're an asshole, blah, blah, blah. He's not gay, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, who even cares if he's gay?
Yeah.
And
Like,
also, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so it was like 4 years later, he came out, and I clipped the thing and sent it back to every single one of them in the file. And you know what? Not one of them responded.
Of course not.
Not one. But like, how petty am I? I just sat
That's
there.
funny.
But that like made my day. I'm like, I got you all, motherfucker.
Sorry, I'm busy. I've got to reply to every single person who emailed me after I made.
There weren't that. I mean, there were probably like
a
30.
dozen. Yeah,
Yeah. And I got them all. I got them all.
I'm the same kind of petty. I remember shit. Like when we do dirty sports and somebody calls me out for something, I'll immediately be able to call it back when I'm proved right on the show. And Ruther's like, how do you remember their Twitter @ names? And I'm like, oh, when somebody talks shit, I never forget. I never forget.
I forget. I block them immediately, and I forget.
Muting is the best thing ever.
Dude, I have so many burner accounts that I use just to talk shit to people.
Do you really?
I fucking love arguing people on the internet.
That's so funny.
Muting is the greatest thing ever because people
Why
get
do you use burner accounts to talk shit?
Because it got to the point where, like, now I will see shit and want to say it, but I don't want to say it for myself because I don't even want to fucking start it. I want to be able to let it go,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
still want to say something.
Gotcha.
I have 0 burner accounts. If I did, I would be trashing everyone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to help it.
Well, I give you the password or something.
No, but I wonder how many people that are trashing me are people I know. But like there are so many comics now that are successful, and it's not jealousy. Part of it, I would say, is jealousy. But if I see one more guy showing himself getting on a private jet, it's like, when did that become funny?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing funny about getting on a private jet. It's more funny, like, to make the joke. I saw comics doing it once, and I took a picture, like a video of me on a plane. I'm in the back of the plane, and I'm like, hey, I'm on my way to San Francisco for my show on my private jet and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and then I turn and I go, oh, wait, don't mind those people.
Yeah.
Like, make a joke.
Yeah, the flex, the subtle flex of your success.
But I feel like every comic has become a rapper.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at my bling, look at what I own, look at my houses, look how much I have. And there's a whole group of them.
Shit.
You're going to do that?
Mm-hmm. I'm Mexican, bro. Look at my truck. Look at my guns. Look at my knife.
That's so weird to me.
It's success. I started in the gutter. I fucking like it.
Yeah, but fucking
I'm probably not gonna do private jet. I'm too old school.
Be
and that's
humble.
just too much money.
Although I remember one time Lachlan flew with a famous comic, and this comic doesn't talk about it or show it at all, but they flew to Palm Springs in a helicopter. And I was like, it's fucking Palm Springs. It's 2 hours away. What the fuck are you taking a helicopter for? The other day I had a gig in Palm Springs, and it took me 5 hours to get there. And while I was driving, I was like, I would have paid for a helicopter.
Yeah.
I would have paid for a helicopter to fly here today. Like, this is such bullshit that I'm sitting in this traffic right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would have, even if I was going to break even.
I did that gig. You know the gig that used to be at the Improv in Palm Springs?
Oh yeah.
I went out with a bunch of guys to spring training in Arizona, and then on the way back, I was like, just drop me at that gig. I'm there for the weekend. So then I was going to be in Palm Springs and not have a car. And I looked it up, and I got not a private jet, but a private plane back to here was like $125, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, clearly that's what I'm going to do. And the only reason I didn't is because I ended up working with Alan Havey, and we stayed and watched a tennis match. But it was like, why would I drive for 2 hours if I can fly for $120?
I'm an idiot for not doing that. I'm an idiot. I one time was driving.
Watch him get this goes viral. He gets millions of dollars and he does the fucking.
Oh, yeah.
You'll never
Look,
see.
look,
Hey, listen. You will never see me on a private jet. You will never catch.
You'll be on a private jet. You just won't post about it.
That's what I mean, because I've already been on a bunch, but I won't. You'll never find a picture of me doing it.
I'll post that shit. I'll be like, oh shit, they done fucked up. I'm still in the silverware.
But see, at least that's funny. These other guys, the mega church leaders.
Sky Lounge. I'm in there getting
No,
diarrhea.
You gotta be like, you know what the best
I'm
part about a
filming
private jet
shit.
is? No TSA, and then flick the knife.
I've never stabbed anybody in my life.
That'd be so funny. You with a joint and a knife on the plane, like, this is why I fly private. So I was driving one time to a gig, and I started coming down, like, from where I live, you can either go down to the PCH or the 101. I'm driving down the PCH in an Uber, and it's like this old man driving me, and he's going so slow. And all of a sudden, my Waze tells me there's a traffic jam, and it's like backed up. I go, fucking turn around, go back to 101, go back to one. So we start going to 101, and I got to make the flight. You know this feeling.
Yeah.
You got to make the flight. If you don't make the flight, you don't get to the gig, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, I got to get there. If I miss this flight, I don't get paid. I'm driving there, and I remembered in New York City, you can take a helicopter from like downtown LA to the airport, and they're cheap. Back in the day, they were like, I don't know, $150, $200 or something to get to the airport. When a taxi back then would cost you like $30. Well, so I'm driving. I'm like, I'm near Van Nuys, and I'm like, that's where the private airport is. And I'm like, wonder if they have helicopters there that like run people from there to the airport. And so I Google it, and sure enough, I see it. I'm like, fuck yeah. So I call the place. I'm going to tell the guy, get off here, go to Van Nuys Airport, and then I'll helicopter to LAX, be there in like 10 minutes and be on time for my flight, make my gig. And even if it's like even if I lose half my money, I still make a lot of money,
Yeah.
like, so I'm like doing all the calculations. So I go to the guy, hey, I want to book a helicopter. And I saw on the thing how much it was. And it was like, I think it was like $250. And I'm like, yeah, I want to book a helicopter. He's like, for when? I go, I'll be there in 5 minutes. And the guy goes, who are you? And I go, why? He goes, this isn't Uber helicopters.
Yeah.
He goes, you got to book like 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's, I go, yeah, I just want one way too. He's like, it's a round trip 500. And I go, no, I just need to go one way. And he's like,
It doesn't work.
yeah, he was like, he couldn't believe that I had the audacity to think I just show up. I'm like, start the chopper. Let's go. I
He's
gotta,
like, who's paying for the gas back?
Yeah.
I gotta get the Rooster
go
Teeth.
back.
I gotta get the Rooster Teeth feathers.
I've done that club. Good club. I did a one-nighter on a Wednesday. I drove there and I drove back.
It's back. Rooster's it was closed all pandemic. I'm doing, I think,
No, I did Tommy T's.
I think I'm doing
thinking
open
Tommy
weekend.
T's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy T's.
Tommy T's, next door to Tommy T's used to be, Tommy T's was like a ghetto club,
Yeah.
like all black, ghetto, like scary, like metal detector. And then next door was like line dancing.
This guy's going to get canceled.
Yeah.
Line dancing next door. You had the two complete opposites right next to each other. And I was like, you guys should just like take the wall out and just merge everybody and see what happens.
And one night, Lil Nas X was there, and he's like, "I've got an idea."
And the Cowboys have been angry ever since.
Yeah.
The fuck is that?
I had a fucking blowout with Pauly Shore there.
Where? Tommy T's?
Tommy
Oh,
T's.
you told me that one.
Yeah, that's where that happened.
Were
Nice.
you guys working together?
Yeah. Yeah. It was my first like headline gig ever. And Tommy was so scared I wasn't going to sell tickets that he brought Pauly in over me and said, you're going to feature and I'll still pay you the same amount. But he was just, cause he's got to sell a lot of tickets. Yeah. And, but I was on the radio at the time in San Francisco, which was the number one radio station, still is, the Alice Show. And they were like, no, he'll sell. He's popular. And Tommy's like, and he was just really nervous. And so then
I don't trust it. Get me the weasel.
It was so bad.
so that's what he got. And then I got to see all Pauly's
I need a
fans.
helicopter to Pleasanton right now. One way for the weasel.
Lachlan ended up saying on that helicopter that like you couldn't hear each other.
Yeah.
Like they had to wear headphones. And I'm like, how was it? He's like, it takes like an hour. I'm like, you can drive there in 2. And he's like, it took like an hour by helicopter. And he's like, you can't hear anything that you're saying. So it's just, you're just like,
I've never been in a helicopter.
Me either.
They're spooky.
Yeah.
They're really spooky. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's
take off like this. They don't just go like, they go, and you're like, this isn't natural. And you just keep thinking if those rotors, the truth is I have a buddy that's a pilot right now. I've always asked him like if the rotors stop, like, do you just shoot straight to the ground? And it's like, the rotors never stop. They just go like, and slow down. So the rotors slow down. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is. Here he is.
Why am I here if you're here?
Does it smell like ass?
I don't know why you're here, Joe.
Man.
Does it smell like ass?
Yeah, it smells horrible here.
I'm going to get a HEPA filter. I have a HEPA filter at home.
Smells
I'm gonna
nice to me.
I'm going to bring it in. Sit down, Jason.
Sit down, Jason.
Sit down. Be part of the
No,
show.
Jason. Sit down, Jason. Jason. Sit
You know what I
down.
like? When you become a dad, you start dressing like you don't give a fuck. I'm in. No. This is really don't give
Yeah.
a fuck.
I wore yellow sweatpants and cowboy boots in high school.
Now you got a quarter zip.
Never gave a fuck
Now you got a
about
quarter
what-
zip and flip flops. You look
Wait
like
a
a
minute.
dad who went out
Wait
to
a
get the
minute.
paper.
Wait a minute. Did we just glaze up? You wore what in high school?
Yellow sweatpants.
Yellow sweatpants because that was our team colors, green and gold. And they had a show. There's a commercial
Sit
for
down. You're making me nervous.
Jim and Chuck's Boot Shop, south of the border prices.
And I fell in love, buddy. I had to get the Spurs too.
North of the border quality. It's not the border
Exactly.
prices.
He comes in
Exactly.
firing.
And I got sweats and cowboy boots. Sweats because I didn't really feel good in jeans because they didn't have fat guy jeans back then like they do now. You go to Old Navy, man, they stretch out. They're like sweat jeans. They're amazing.
Yeah, elastic in jeans is the best invention ever.
Oh, dude, your balls are never that
Levi's
itchy
make
anymore.
stretch.
All my jeans are stretchy. I don't know how anybody can wear pants that aren't stretched.
I threw them all away. I donated them.
Yeah.
I fuck regular jeans. Just stretchy pants now.
I wear
yoga
yo-
jeans.
I wear yoga
Yoga
fucking
jeans.
pants.
Are these stretchy?
No, not really.
How do you?
No, he's
not
got
wear-
some
how do
old
you do
school
that?
fucking pants.
These are stretchy.
Yeah, I can't.
I got
not
a lot
wear-
of stretchy jeans. These ones just don't.
Jason,
It's
I'm not
hard,
gonna,
bro.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was nervous.
I almost didn't make it.
I know.
Like literally on the way here, I almost didn't make it.
You don't know how much you mean to me.
I fucking had a GERD reaction on the 405, and I started looking for exits, dude, because I was like, I'm gonna fucking go down.
What do you? GERD.
Gird.
I get.
GERD?
Reflux.
What happens when my wife brought this fucking shitty Chinese food that was over seasoned, and I ate it really quickly because I was in a hurry to get it here, and fucking about halfway here, all of a sudden I got like that. You know when you like ate a whole fucking bunch of brownies that are laced with something, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like behind yourself a little bit and scared at the same time.
Like
And you think
looking
you're
out in the
gonna-
distance.
Yeah.
And you think you're gonna pass out. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I had a similar reaction to the steroid I was on in December, and I went to the ER, and they're like, "Oh, your EKG's fine, everything's good." So now I know just to cog through it, and I'll make it.
Why you on
But-
steroids? You working out?
No, I had a spinal injury. I had to have
Oh.
steroids.
All right. Well, let's talk about this all in the next episode. 'cause
Okay, tune in
we've-
next
we've
time,
had-
everybody.
We've had Craig.
Thanks for coming.
We're going to record a second
Spinal.
episode.
Yeah.
I want to thank Craig for being on the show and really coming through. He's always been there for me.
You've always. been
I
there.
actually love you, Craig.
I love you too, bro.
I think you're a
Remember
great
when
guy.
we did Jim
You-
Florentine without Eddie?
Yeah.
That was the funniest shit in the world.
Was my
bro.
mom there? My mom was there, wasn't
Was
she?
I think
That guy that had the TV show with the puppets, he wasn't really nice to you.
She
he
said
was
that about
looking-
Jim Florentine.
I think so.
He kept looking at me.
Like, who the
you were
fuck
in
are these
Hawaii.
people?
You missed your flight or some shit happened. All I know is
No,
you
Eddie was out of town on vacation. I was just covering for him.
That's what he just
Joe
said.
came in.
I
That
wasn't
wasn't
there.
No, I didn't.
not that
I
week,
was
but
going to
you
be
were
there,
the
and then
week
I
before.
missed
Yeah.
being there.
He was.
Yeah.
He did that a few times, but the one time with Jim, he was supposed to be there, and then he didn't.
Oh,
and then it
okay.
was me, you, and Jim, and you were nervous as fuck,
Yeah.
and I was just laughing, and Jim was just like, "What the fuck?" You
I didn't
it
know
was
what
so
to talk
funny.
to Jim. I don't know Jim Florentine.
Can you imagine showing up there, showing the host isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
If you're
now
not
I'm
gonna
just
show up,
talking
man,
about
can you at least
diarrhea and
write
getting
some questions
arrested
for me?
and shit. And
You
he's
know,
just
Jason,
like-
ask him this question.
You're lucky I
and
didn't
that
make you
one.
sing Jingle
He
Bells.
still looks at me to this day because I haven't seen really work with him since. But he goes like this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know you.
I know you.
Yeah.
We had a weird moment together.
We
All
sure
right, well,
did.
hey, Joe, thanks for filling in for Jason.
My pleasure.
Thanks for sidekicking. Craig, thanks for doing the show.
I'm kicked out.
Anything you want to plug?
Tour dates, CraigConant.com. I'm out in the streets, road dogging it. Yeah.
You're
I'm
killing
working-
it.
Bro, 46 cities. I saw your schedule, and I remember I'd always ask you to take me, and you're like, no, I'm just kidding. You did. I asked you to take me to Australia. Remember that?
I can't
It's been-
take
I know.
anyone there. That's
I was
the
like, I'll pay for my ticket. I just
everybody
wanna
asks
go.
for that, and I'm like, it's the one place where I can't take anyone.
And then
You could take me.
I forgot the whole train of this shit. No, you always took me. And
You
yeah,
can take me.
46 cities. You're the workhorse. Like, I skid it. I did 59 my first year. I almost died.
I got it again this year.
What'd you do?
No, I just let them put together a tour for me that's like I'm gone every single week for the next
It hurts, bro.
yeah. Well,
You're too old for that
especially with
shit too,
kids.
man.
Oh, with kids. I mean,
You're
I
an
have
old
two
man
cats.
doing that shit on the road.
Yep.
It still hurts. I miss my cats. Anyways, I just love
In
you.
the age of internet,
Taught me
why
that
the
Road Dog
fuck
Warrior
are you
shit, man. I
people
love that
going
shit.
on the road?
It's a good point. Look,
Why are
if
you
we
on
could
the road,
if we
man?
could build up this
TikTok.
podcast, if we could build up this podcast, I would never go on the road. I would just
Yeah.
sit here every day and do this. And
Okay.
I'd do
That's
stand
all
up
you
at
gotta
the
do.
store or cellar or improv or something. But
Road Dog, homie. I just got here.
Okay, Holmes.
He's been doing this shit.
Sure,
all right,
old
well,
school.
where's
Get
your-
out there.
Where's
You on
your
a Harley?
podcast so we can?
Community service podcast on all platforms. CraigConant.com. Tour dates, all that shit. If you like farts and drugs, I'm your guy. God
Prano?
bless.
JoePrano.com for shows. 30 Sports Podcast, Joe Prano, at Joe Prano and everything.
PVgaming.com. PV Gamer Dad. How's it going?
PV, is that your handle? PV Gamer Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, PV
Oh
Gamer
my
Dad.
God.
Thanks for listening. Check out if you're doing this,
was
if you can hear this and see this, then you're already on the Patreon. Thanks.
know.
Please spread the word though to everyone you know.
It's like
And
2
check out all
layers.
my tour dates at eddyiff.com.
Giving another
Thanks for
guy
listening.
free
Thanks for
ride
watching.
up
Thanks
here.
for you're already talking over. He's already talking over. Good night, everyone.